Picture this. You're developing on your MacBook. Everything feels normal. Then you check your SSD health monitor and you see something terrifying. Your drive has written 60 terabytes in just 3 weeks. Not downloaded. Written to your local disk. You trace the issue and discover it's coming from a single process in the background. Codex CLI, OpenAI-powered command line tool. And you're not alone. Developers have reported the same thing. One report measured nearly 37 terabytes written in just 21 days. That extrapolates to somewhere around 640 terabytes per year. At that rate, your SSD would be completely worn out in months. So what happened? And more importantly, how do you fix it? If you haven't heard of Codex, here's the quick version. It's OpenAI's command line interface for their Codex model, the same technology that powers GitHub Copilot. But Codex CLI lives in your terminal. You ask it questions about your codebase and it reads your files, understands your architecture, and gives you answers or writes code directly. It's similar to Claude Code in some ways, but with Codex's model and OpenAI's philosophy, it sounds great in theory. The problem is that it was also quietly writing massive amounts of data to your disk without anyone really noticing it. For weeks, users thought their SSDs were failing. They weren't. Their tools were just broken. So how did anyone even catch this? A developer was monitoring their system disk usage and noticed something wrong. Their SSD was being absolutely hammered with write operations, terabytes of data, every single day. They dug into their process monitor and saw that Codex CLI was the culprit. They checked the logs. A Codex had a feature that was supposed to track feedback, a helpful way to improve the model based on user interactions. But the implementation was wrong. Instead of batching those logs or compressing them, Codex was writing raw, uncompressed feedback to a local SQLite database, and it was doing it constantly. Every keystroke, every response, every interaction, all uncompressed, all written immediately to disk. For some users, Codex was writing roughly 9 terabytes per day. That's not a software quirk, that's a catastrophic bug. Let's put this in perspective. A consumer SSD, the kind you have in your laptop, is designed to handle a certain amount of total write volume before it wears out. A typical drive might have a TBW rating, or terabytes written, around 500 to 1000. That's the total amount of data the manufacturer guarantees it can handle. At Codex's write rate of 9 terabytes per day, you'd wear out a typical SSD in 2 to 3 months. Not a year, not 6 months, 2 to 3 months. If you were a heavy Codex user, your SSD would be dead before you even realized what was happening. For a developer who spent money on a MacBook Pro or a high-end laptop, this isn't just a software bug. It's hardware damage. It's thousands of dollars of damage. Here's where the story gets better. Once OpenAI realized what was happening, they moved fast. They merged a patch that completely changed how Codex handles logging. Instead of writing to disk immediately, the new version batches those log entries. It compresses them. It only flushes to disk on a schedule, and it respects a configurable log directory. Most importantly, according to reports, the fix reduced disk writes by approximately 85%. That one patch took Codex from potentially destroying your hardware to being a normal citizen on your system. It's not zero writes. Logging still happens, but it's now at a level that doesn't threaten your SSD's lifespan. If you use Codex CLI, here's what you need to do right now. First, update immediately. OpenAI has already released the fix. Get the latest version. Second, check your SSD health. If you've been a heavy user, run a health check. Most SSDs ship with diagnostic tools. On Mac, try DriveDX or Disk Utility. You want to know if you've already taken damage. Third, review your Codex configuration. OpenAI stores user settings in a file at /.codex/config.terminal. Open it. Look for a setting called logdir. That tells you where Codex stores its logs. If you want to be safe, you can redirect this to a location with more space or even disable local logging entirely. Some developers have pointed logs to an external drive to avoid the wear on their main SSD. It's not ideal, but it works. Fourth, If you use Codex in your CI pipeline or in automation, check those logs too. The same issue could be happening on your server. But here's the thing that actually bothers me about this story. It's not really about Codex, it's about a broader problem in the AI tool space. We treat these tools as pure software. We think, well, it's just code, and code can be fixed with a patch, but AI tools run on hardware. They have real costs, they create real wear and tear, and most of them don't make that visible to you. Codex was writing terabytes and you didn't know. You didn't know because the tool didn't tell you. There was no warning, no log, no dashboard showing you disk usage, no configuration that let you control the behavior by default. It just happened. This is going to be a pattern. Every AI tool you use, Claude Code, Copilot, Cursor, anything running on your machine, could have a similar issue. Not necessarily a bug like Codex's, but a feature that wastes resources you didn't know it was wasting. If you use Codex CLI, update now and check your SSD health. If you use other AI development tools, start paying attention. Check your disk usage, check your CPU usage, check your network. If a tool is using more resources than seems reasonable, investigate. Read the documentation, find the configuration files, see what's being logged and where. For most tools, you'll find they have logging directories you never knew existed. And maybe most importantly, check your tool's config files. That's usually where the good settings hide. Claude Code has clude.md and settings.json. Copilot has configuration in your VS Code workspace. Codex has that config.tom. These files are your leverage. Read them, understand them, configure them, condesign them. Most tools have sane defaults, but not all of them do. The lesson here isn't Codex is bad. Codex is useful when it's not melting your hardware. The lesson is know what your tools are doing to your machine. Ask the hard questions, and if something feels wrong, investigate. If you use Codex CLI, go update it right now. Then run a quick SSD health check. It takes 5 minutes and could save you thousands of dollars in hardware replacement. If you use other AI development tools, take an afternoon and explore their config directories. See what's actually running on your machine. You might be surprised by what you find. And if you've run into a similar issue with any AI tool, hardware damage from unexpected resource usage, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your story. Subscribe for more deep dives into AI tools and the real-world problems they cause. I'll see you in the next one.